For the past year, I've been investigating childcare, uncovering disturbing incidents which are far too common. We now have more than 120,000 pages of internal documents from the New South Wales childcare regulator. There's one sector that so far has received little public scrutiny: out-of-school hours care, used by 400,000 kids a year. The documents show what's really been going on. How would you describe out-of-school hours care?
It's the Wild West. It's next level horrifying. If you thought that the lack of regulation in long daycare and family daycare was bad, just wait until you see what's happening when it comes to out-of-school hours care.
On what basis are you saying that?
When I look through the regulatory documents that have been provided, there is such a lax attitude to this sector. You have lower requirements. You have the ability for people to be alone with children on a really regular basis. And the absolute drive of various governments to bring in corporate players and to privatise this sector.
It's the fastest growing area of the childcare sector. Why do you think that's the case?
There's big money in this sector. In New South Wales, there is an active policy from the government to try and attract more private investment into these out-of-school hour care services. That is a mistake. It's so lax. And the numbers of really concerning incidents that I've read about in these documents where educators are completely alone with a cohort of children that's anything from kindergarten up to year 6, without any qualifications. When you look at this sector and the amount of loopholes that companies are allowed to use, and you look at the way in which the regulator has been completely asleep at the wheel, when you have a sector that is this poorly regulated, you are going to get the wrong sorts of people coming in and taking advantage.
Adele Ferguson joins me now. Adele, we've been very focused on long daycare while we've been watching your investigations. This is something completely different. It seems to have evaded scrutiny.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You've got staff who don't need to have any qualifications at all, and you have a ratio of 1 to 15 children. So the supervision is a lot less.
So what happens if someone is working in after-school care? They don't have the same, these aren't the same requirements on qualifications as you'd get in the long daycare centre, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have at least a Certificate 3 or a diploma or do a degree. Here, you don't need any qualifications at all, so you might not be able to see the red flags of something going wrong.
Exactly the kind of dangerous things that we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
Now, who is actually responsible for overseeing this sector? Who should be in charge of standards and so on?
Well, you've got the state regulators who are meant to be in charge, going in, doing checks. You've also got the national quality standards, which do the ratings of these centres. And what we found from looking at the data is at least 10% of these centres have never been rated, and at least 11% are failing the national quality standards. And if you look even further, you find that some centres haven't been rated for up to 11 years.
So what's changed? Because this sector, the after-school care, it used to be community-run or parent-run. It was a very sort of low-key, familiar situation. It's obviously changed a lot.
It's changed a lot with the subsidies. When you've got a pot of money, in comes the private sector. And so what you've seen in the last decade is basically all of the growth is coming from the private sector.
So what does this mean now for parents? So I ask you this almost every time you come on, but if you're a parent with children in after-school care, watching what you've just presented there, plus the reporting that you were doing at the weekend about one of the cases, what does a parent do if they've got a child in school dependent as a working person on one of these services?
Yeah, it's really tough. They really have to look at who these staff are. Are there enough? Is there a lot of casual staff who are coming and going all the time, which is another one of the issues with this part of the sector.
And has the government focused on this as well? We've obviously heard them talking about childcare over the last weeks and months. Are they as focused on after-school care as a part of this problem?
It hasn't really been mentioned until now, and so I guess that they're going to have to start looking at this part of the sector as well.
And just explain that. If you've got someone working in an after-school care, they don't have to have a childcare qualification or certificate. They can just... Can anybody get a job in after-school care?
Anybody can get a job as long as they've got a working with children check.
How reliable are those working with children checks? I mean, do they catch everyone who's done something wrong?
No, they absolutely don't, and that's what the government is looking at the moment, trying to make them national, because right now every state has different laws and requirements, and there's privacy issues, so things are always falling through the gaps.
So I presume there's going to be a lot more scrutiny now on this service, including by you.
Absolutely.
Adele Ferguson, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Adele, who won a Logie yesterday for her investigations into childcare.